Hey everyone, Maru here, and welcome back to my channel. Today, I'm excited to review Sonic X Shadow Generations, which combines the remastered Sonic Generations with a fresh standalone campaign, Shadow Generations. Both games bring back a classic and modern stages from Sonic and Shadow's history in a blend of high-speed 2D and 3D platforming. I want to thank you for sticking with me as I put this video together. There's been a high volume of people wanting to see me review Sonic X Shadow Generations and a video topic discussion about how Sega should approach in making a Virtua Fighter collection in today's standards. Back to Sonic Generations, this game played a big part of Sonic's 20th anniversary for me back in 2011, so coming back to it now has been an absolute blast. Special thanks to Sonic Pillar Associate Influencer Manager Sydney for the early access too. For this review, I'll cover both Sonic Generations and Shadow Generations in separate sections, so if you'd like to skip one specifically, check the timestamps in the description. Remember to like, subscribe, and hit the bell if you enjoy Sega video game reviews. Now let's dive in and dash to see if Sonic X Shadow Generations lives up to our expectations. If you remember Sonic Generations from 2011, you probably know what the story is about already, but if you're new, here's a quick recap. Sonic's birthday celebration with his friends is interrupted by Time Eater, scattering everyone across time and space. To fix things, modern and classic Sonic must team up to defeat Time Eater and set the timeline right. In this remaster, Sonic Generations keeps most of its gameplay where you play as classic Sonic in 2D akin to the Mega Drive and Genesis games, and modern Sonic in 2D and 3D, similar to games such as Sonic Unleashed and Colors, using moves like the Spin Dash, Stomp, Homing Attack, and more to navigate through each stage, complete challenge stages, and battle bosses from Sonic's history. There are some new updates too. Both Sonics now have the Drop Dash, inspired by Sonic Mania and Sonic Frontiers. And there are new missions like Chow Rescues, adding some replay value. Controls are now modernized to feel more like Sonic Frontiers with the R2 button to boost, for example, and you can choose legacy controls if you prefer the original setting. To me, the standard controls feels a lot more doable after getting used to it. This remaster now runs at a smooth 60 frames per second, making the fast-paced action even more thrilling. The story and cutscenes, rewritten by Ian Flynn, align more with the Sonic lore and are full of nods of past games like seeing the return of Chow, mentions of past locations, and fix some of the character dialogue, which I really appreciate. I still love the level design of each act, the climactic boss battles, and the fun yet sometimes tedious challenge acts that made Sonic Generations such an amazing experience to play back in 2011. But the higher frame rate in some of the stages sometimes cause Sonic to zip past through key routes, and in City Escape Act 1 with classic Sonic, the gun truck speed feels very difficult to avoid as you try to reach platforms. The drop dash for both Sonics isn't as useful, as you will probably rely on more boosting and other speedrunning tricks to finish stages quickly. Another minor gripe I have with the game is the fact that the music during the intro of the Metal Sonic boss fight doesn't quite sync as well as it did in the original. I hate to hear that awesome Stardust Speedway remix get botched up like that. Gotta put more respect on Nafumi Hayata-san's name. Overall, this remaster still pretty much captures what makes Sonic Generations great while adding some fresh touches. It only took me about 2.5 hours to complete the main campaign, not counting the collectibles. This game remains a must-play for me as a longtime Sonic and Sega fan. With that, let's move on to Shadow Generations. In Shadow Generations, Shadow stars in his own campaign. Set alongside Sonic Generations, Shadow encounters Black Doom, who's back and ready to take over once again. To stop him, Shadow must embrace his past, confront painful memories, and unlock new powers to save the world. Right away, Shadow Generations delivers some of the best modern Sonic gameplay I've played in recent years, on par with Sonic Generations and Sonic Frontiers. Like levels in Sonic Generations, Shadow levels combine 2D and 3D action, but his unique abilities, Chaos Spear, Chaos Control, and new Doom powers take things to a whole new level. Chaos Spirit lets you stun enemies or activate distance switches for secret paths. Chaos Control, when the chaos gauge is full, stops time briefly, helping you dodge attacks or discover shortcuts. Then there's Doom Powers, which let you explore levels with new moves like Doom Wing and Doom Surf, which really makes speedrunning a thrill. Controlling Shadow in this game feels very natural with minimum issues coming from me, as I'm able to breeze through the acts with ease and excitement. The game's hub world, White Space, now resembles the open zones in Sonic Frontiers, lets you freely walk around and access the main and challenge acts. You can even collect items and levels to access the collection boxes in White Space for concept art, music, and Shadow's history to view later in the collection room, which has a catchy tune to vibe with composed by G-Wiz. Collecting pages of Gerald's diary is definitely worth checking out if you're deep into learning about the creation of Shadow and other lore within the Sonic series. Facing bosses from past Sonic games gives a sense of nostalgia with a nice change of pace to make the fights more interesting as it progresses. The graphics in this game rival Sonic Frontiers, if not better, with impressive use of the Hedgehog engine too. The levels are well craftily designed with multiple paths to choose from to progress, and Shadow's animations, from free-falling in Kingdom Valley to gliding over Chaos Island, are so eye-catching. In-game cutscenes involving a chase with Black Doom as you transition through stages midway offers an intense sequence with a crazy surreal version of Radical Highway filled with obstacles, and the frame rate keeps up with it perfectly. The music remixes are also a treat throughout the game, with standout tracks like Sunset Heights and Chaos Island. With these bangers, I find myself humming along with the tunes as I speed through the levels. The story digs deeper into Shadow's origins with emotional reunions, confrontations, and glimpses of his past with Maria and Gerald Robotnik. It makes Shadow an even more compelling character to me since his debut in Sonic Adventure 2. Kurt Thornton's portrayal of Shadow is especially on point here as he captures the intensity and depth of Shadow's character perfectly, bringing out the raw edge and inner struggle in a way that feels true to the character. Compared to his performance in Sonic Generations and other media, this is a significant step up, and it's clear he's embraced a darker and more complex direction of Shadow's story. I also must commend the fantastic voice work of Stephanie Sheh, Mike Pollock, and Ben Diskin. Stephanie brings a beautifully warm and heartfelt portrayal of Maria Robotnik, which really hits the emotional beats of the story. Just seeing the sibling relationship established between Maria and Shadow not only brought me joy, but tears of sorrow as well. Mike Pollock as Gerald Robotnik delivers a grounded and gripping performance, adding a touch of wisdom and regret to his character. And Ben Diskin channels Sean Semmel's iconic take on Black Doom in Shadow the Hedgehog flawlessly as he brings back that unsettling, powerful presence that makes Black Doom such an impactful character in the Sonic the Hedgehog series. Overall, from my experience playing Shadow Generations from start to finish, the Doom powers add a fun new layer to exploration, and they're especially useful for finding alternate paths. The gameplay and level design shine throughout this game, especially in the 2D sections for me, where Shadow's powers bring an extra flow to the speedrunning and making levels more fun compared to their original versions. The boss battles of past enemies are choreographed perfectly, showcasing some of the best work from Sonic Team. I would love to see more boss fights like these in future main titles. The only minor slowdown for me was navigating through White Space to clear challenges for boss keys, which felt like a chore going back and forth to the boss gates. Also, it's easy to get a bit lost while trying to find ways to access certain platforms. In the end, Sonic X Shadow Generations hits the mark with thrilling action and high-speed gameplay of both games that will please many fans. Shadow's campaign in particular really shines in storytelling and level design, which I hope will become a trend for future Sonic titles, as Sonic also deserves the same level of badassery too. For my overall rating, I give this game a solid 9.5 out of 10. I really enjoyed my time with this game, and I would have enjoyed it 10 times more if the campaign was longer. I highly recommend it to Sonic fans and newcomers who would like to get into playing a Sonic game for the first time. Sonic X Shadow Generations is now available on all major platforms, so be sure to check it out, and with Sonic Movie 3 around the corner, now would be a good time to join in on the hype. Thanks for watching my review of Sonic X Shadow Generations. Sega has been delivering strong titles this year, and this one is my personal favorite. As we head into the new year, I'm excited to see more Sega Classic franchises making a huge comeback. If you enjoyed this review, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share your thoughts on Sonic X Shadow Generations in the comments below, as I would love to read your opinions on this game. Until then, rest easy heroes, and all hail Shadow.